Policy issue. Here to offer his substantive analysis of the way the debate went tonight, joining us via Skype from Detroit, Newsmax TV political analyst Dick Morris. Dick, of course, the author of the best-selling book, Power Grab, Obama's Dangerous Plan for a One-Party Nation. Dick, what about debates? They rarely go as planned, but what is your assessment of what went on tonight there in Motown?
Well, I think there was a debate between Trump and Rubio, and it was a very destructive debate. It was an undignified one, constant interruptions and talking over, and so's your mother, when you hit with negatives. And I think it hurt both of them. I think Rubio came across as a petulant child, and I think Trump came across in large part as a phony. I don't think that all the shots that Trump landed, I'm not sure all of them hurt him, but I think they were significant, and I think they were important. I think Cruz did a very good job of rising above the debate, as did Kasich. Kasich by staying out of it entirely, but he is out of it. And Cruz by giving answers that related to substance with great detail, great specificity, and great force. I think it was Cruz's best performance so far. In terms of the impact on the election, I think that it confirms what I think is going to happen, which is I think Rubio will not win Florida, and he will be out of the race. I think Kasich will either win or not win Ohio. I think he'll lose it. But in any case, he'll either be out of the race or ghettoized as one state candidate. And then it'll be Cruz against Trump. And I think Cruz presented a very good alternative to Trump by giving complete, rounded, substantive answers, delivered forcefully and factually in a way that Trump didn't do, and I suspect can't do.
Dick, you referred to the back and forth, and you called it the so's your mother kind of routine that went on between Donald Trump and Marco Rubio tonight. There was an interesting scene early on dealing with that back and forth and dealing with one of the insults. You recall a few days ago, Marco Rubio was talking about the size of Donald Trump's hands and what that implied. And in much the same way that Ronald Reagan made a joke about age to Fritz Mondale in 1984, it's interesting to see how Trump replied. I never thought I would see body parts on parade, if you will, rhetorically speaking. Nevertheless, here's the way it went down tonight.
He hit my hands. Nobody has ever hit my hands. I've never heard of this one. Look at those hands. Are they small hands? And he referred to my hands. If they're small, something else must be small. I guarantee you there's no problem.
So maybe it is just where we are as a society. I don't want to get too heavy here, Steve Malzberg, but was it Patrick Moynihan who talked about defining deviancy down here? Now we're talking about comparative anatomy in presidential debates?
I think that resonated with the average American who's sitting at home and already likes Trump. Now they love him even more, and maybe endeared him to some people who said, that's funny. I don't think people went, I don't think they were aghast and embarrassed or ashamed or shut it off. I think that that's Donald Trump. And I think he looked good with that. And it was Marco Rubio who initially, not tonight, but brought that up and made the analogy to small hands and a small other part. So he just answered back. And to Dick's point, yeah, I think I think Ted Cruz was, as he always is, brilliant with comprehensive answers. And maybe Trump is not capable of giving them. But I do not think there's any difference. This has been the case right along, debate after debate after debate. I don't think Trump harmed himself tonight. And I don't think Cruz did anything extraordinary that he hasn't done in the past that's going to help him.
Donald was pretty funny with that response, Dick. Go ahead. You have something you want to say.
Yeah, I think that Look, you have to realize that one of the basic fault lines in this election, this primary, is educational level. Those who have some college or high school graduate or high school dropout are mainly for Trump. Those who have four-year college degrees or graduate degrees are overwhelmingly against Donald Trump. Some for Rubio, some for Kasich, some for Cruz. And I think that educational division was on display tonight. I think that Trump's answers are really, tabloid answers. They're one word, they're headlines, they're kind of encapsulated stuff, not too much heavy lifting, lots of pictures. Cruz's answers, and I thought were very substantive and detailed and specific. And I think that over time, that's going to win.
Well, specifically, let's talk about the specificity that you associate with Ted Cruz. Both of you have made mention of it. Let's take a look at the Texas senator taking aim at Donald Trump and Donald Trump's past campaign contributions.
Donald Trump has written checks to Hillary Clinton not once, not twice, not 3 times, 10 times. And 4 of those checks were not to her Senate campaign. It wasn't that she was the New York senator and it was a cost of doing business. It was to her presidential campaign. Donald Trump in 2008 wrote 4 checks to elect Hillary Clinton as president. Okay. So I'd like to ask Donald, why did you write checks to Hillary Clinton to be president in 2008? It wasn't for business. And how can you stand on a debate stage now with her and say you don't think she should be president?
So those questions obviously outlined with some specificity, Steve Malzberg.
Well, he said it was for business, and he's not going to get specific, and he didn't get specific. But again, I think that's a good enough answer. Look, the fact of the matter is that Donald Trump, as he pointed out again tonight, he was accused of being a sexist by Hillary. The second he brought up Bill Clinton and the women, that has gone away. And in a general election, you have to understand Donald Trump is going to go where no one else will go. He will have Bill's women who claim Hillary threatened them campaigning for him. He will mention it at the debate. He will have the Benghazi families who Hillary looked in the face when the coffins came home and said, "We'll get that video guy." And she now says she didn't say it. He'll have them calling her a liar. He's gonna demolish her, going places that no one else would dare go. So I'm not worried that he gave checks to Hillary. He's gonna tear her apart in a debate.
Dick, let me talk about this because you mentioned educational level and who resonates with whom in that regard. But since our society has become dependent on sound bites, on information quickly expressed, it seems like that exchange between Trump and Cruz was the street smart soundbite as opposed to the Harvard Law U.S. Senate argument. And for short effectiveness, Trump was pretty effective.
I think you have to understand a fundamental reality about this election. It's over. It's already been held. In state after state after state, Donald Trump got in the mid-30s and occasionally in the low 40s. And 50+% voted for somebody else. Trump is not going to get the votes of Kasich supporters or of Rubio supporters or of Carson supporters once those candidates are out of the race. They're all going to go to Cruz. Because the fundamental question everybody asks when they vote is, am I going to vote for Trump or not? You don't go into the voting booth and saying, am I going to vote for Kasich or not? Am I going to vote for Cruz or not? You're either for Donald or you're against him. And a majority of the Republican primary electorate is, in fact, against him. And when this gets down to a two-way race after the 15th of March, everybody is going to say, oh, Trump has a 200, 300 delegate lead. It's insurmountable. He's the nominee. And then you will watch one after another as every state, when there's a two-way contest, any state will vote against Trump and will vote for Cruz. It'll be an incredible phenomenon because they've already heard a lot of Donald. A lot of people love him, but a majority of the Republican electorate aren't buying it.
Steve Malzberg, do you buy that?
No, Donald brought up a great point. When Cruz brought up, 70% or 65% have been voting against you, Donald, he brought up a CNN poll. Now, I know the national polls don't mean as much as the state by state. Having said that, he said, well, you just got 14% or 15%. I got 49. So you're telling me that 85% don't like you. I mean,
Steve,
you know what? I mean, we could sit here and speculate, but I just don't buy it.
When Trump said that, I couldn't interrupt, but when you say it, I can. Nobody walked out of that voting booth saying, I'm going to vote for or against Ted Cruz. Donald Trump is the overwhelming personality in this race. And he's on display. He's the front runner. Everybody's talking about him. And when you make a decision to vote for one of the other candidates, it is an act of will that will probably remain long after that candidate has dropped out of the race.
Well, as we look ahead and offer conjecture about what may transpire, You know, it is interesting what has happened away from the debate the debate stage tonight, not only with Mitt Romney earlier today at the University of Utah, but Senator Lindsey Graham, of all people, yesterday on CBS This Morning, talking about perhaps even supporting Ted Cruz. Now, when you see that kind of change, I think that was largely unthinkable for Lindsey Graham just a few days ago. But it shows, does it not, Steve, that what Dick says, there's some merit to it. People are out to try and stop Donald Trump.
Oh, absolutely. People are out, the whole Republican establishment. And the more they come forward, Romney gave him, again, another gift. Just like he got a gift from the Pope, and he got a gift from the former president of Mexico, and he gets a gift from here and from there, from Joe Biden. Now he got a gift from Romney. If Lindsey Graham and the establishment senators come out against him, then he's getting a gift from them. He is anti all these people. The people that support Trump are supporting Trump because they despise Lindsey Graham. They despise Paul Ryan, who weighed in today. They despise John McCain, who weighed in today after Romney. I mean, this is all working in Trump's favor.
Well, listen, I know that you want to respond to this, Dick, and I'm going to let you do that, but I cannot suspend the rules of television, which mandate that we're going to have to step away for just a minute here. But when we come back, we'll have more with Dick Morris and Steve Malzberg. We'll talk about, is Donald Trump blessed with the folks who line up against him? And of course, we're asking you all night tonight, who do you think won the debate? We'd love for you to record your vote, and you can do so by going to newsmaxpolls.com. Miranda Kahn with an update when we return, so stay with us.